There we go. All right. What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my very good friend over there, Brian, we talk about comics that have been transformed into live-action movies and streaming shows. My wife just screamed Madam Web in the background. Brian, you just saw Madam Web, didn't you?
I did. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, though. So let's not go too deep into that.
That's fine. That's fine. Are you like rethinking your life right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, guys, luckily we have some good news. We are here to talk about all the essentially 20th Century Studios projects that are coming. So we have Deadpool and Wolverine, we have X-Men 97, and then we have Fantastic Four. So all really exciting stuff. Brian, out of all those, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Out of those three, which one are you the most excited about?
Oh man, I guess I'm going to say Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
Because it's a movie, and I feel like there's going to be some bigger stakes involved.
Yes.
And I don't know enough about Fantastic Four yet, because all we really have is a cast announcement and that poster, that piece of artwork there. So it's hard to gauge that so far.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think there's one other thing that they have confirmed, maybe not, but we can talk about that. We're going to go in that order, guys. We're going to do Deadpool and Wolverine first, then X-Men 97, and then Fantastic Four. So let's just hop right into Deadpool and Wolverine. Brian, if this was a comic, it would be called Wolverine and Deadpool, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it actually a comic or a miniseries?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a miniseries of that.
I'm pretty sure it was at some point. I don't think I read it or anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever read Spider-Man and Deadpool?
What did I read? I read a Hawkeye and Deadpool book.
Yeah, I've read that too.
Remember that? And I read some Cable and Deadpool, not too much, and then some of the Deadpool solo series. There's been like how many? Yeah, and 1,000 different volumes.
Right. Was the Cable and Deadpool stuff you read like the Fabian Nicieza stuff that was maybe like early 2000s?
Later stuff. It was probably later stuff. I have read very little of Deadpool from the earlier from the 90s, honestly.
Yeah, ditto. There was like a Cable and Deadpool series that was written by Fabian Nicieza or whatever, however you say his name.
Yeah.
And it was a really awesome take on Cable. It's what made me a Cable fan. And then like the Deadpool stuff, I liked him in that, but then I liked him in the Jerry Duggan Deadpool stuff.
Yeah, I did read some of the Jerry Duggan Deadpool stuff, yeah.
And did that kind of endear you to him too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think that first arc started with like a collaboration with Brian Posehn, the comedian.
Yeah.
That was probably that might have been the first Deadpool solo thing I read, honestly.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I have like the body type and the hair of Brian Posehn. You know?
It's just I probably do too, honestly.
Yes. So we're the perfect kind of guys to talk about this shit. 20th Century Studios, Disney is ready to milk that shit raw now, and it's time to cash in.
Yeah. When was that deal done? I mean, it's been a number of years here, and we're finally starting to see what's going to come out of it.
Yeah. Do you think that it was like pre-COVID when they made that deal, or was it after COVID?
God, I want to say it has to have been, because it's essentially, you know, we haven't heard about anything in a long time. Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's here now, and I got to say that, like, regardless of what people say about Marvel and their feelings towards Marvel, I'm excited about all three of these.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So let's just go through the Deadpool movies real quick, because I think there's kind of a distinct difference between the three directors. The first Deadpool came out in 2016, and it was directed by Tim Miller, who I believe was one of the stunt men and stunt coordinators on at least the first John Wick, if not the first and the second. And he directed this movie, and then he also directed Terminator Dark Fate, the first Deadpool.
Okay, yeah, no, and I didn't see Dark Fate yet.
That's okay, man. I mean, you already saw Morbius and Madam Web like in the past week. You're good, you know? But that kind of establishes, you know, we have like a guy who's involved with stunts, action. He's the director. Did you like the first Deadpool movie?
Yes, I like both of them a lot. I don't know which one I like better. The first one's a little more. It's hard to say grounded in a way, but yeah, I guess it's a little more. And the second one feels a lot more comic booky, which I kind of like. I like seeing like Juggernaut and Cable and Domino and all those other characters, and it felt like it was a little more expanded in that second one. But I do like both of them.
Yeah, I like both of them too. I actually like the first one a lot more than the second one. You said it was grounded. I feel like it's more serious, like especially when they're like creating Deadpool.
Yeah,
I think that's a very like serious sequence, you know, where they're kind of like torturing him essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, I assume you watched just Deadpool 2 in the theater, right? And,
I did, yes.
So you haven't seen the either the uncensored or the PG-13 cut, then have you?
No.
I gotta say, yeah, I've seen both actually because I bought it on DVD, so I watched the uncensored when I bought the DVD, and then I was so curious about the PG-13 version because of the Princess Bride framing device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you don't remember that Deadpool essentially kidnaps Fred Savage. And they recreate his room of his character in the Princess Bride, all that. Honestly, I think it was worth it for that.
Oh shit! Okay. Well, is that on Disney Plus, that version, or no?
No, I had to buy that digitally. It took a little digging to find it. Honestly, it's not easy to find these days.
Ah, it sucks. Okay. Well, I remember it now that you mentioned it, but that's pretty awesome. I mean, the second one I think is kind of silly. I actually am a huge fan of Cable and Domino, especially like the more modern you get with them. I like what they do with those characters.
Yeah.
And I felt like kind of cramming them and X-Force into the second one, it just sort of belittles the characters. Like it doesn't make them as interesting as they can be. You know?
Yeah. At the same time, though, it's like, were they ever going to do an X-Force movie without that intro?
Well, I think like they were going to make an X-Force movie, and I think it was going to be directed by Deadpool 2 director David Leitch. Now, David Leitch, he did the original John Wick. I think it had 2 directors. He was one of them. He did Atomic Blonde, and he did Hobbs and Shaw and Bullet Train. I think that's a pretty solid track record. Yeah. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw, maybe not, but yeah.
I didn't see Hobbs and Shaw. I did see Atomic Blonde and Bullet Train, though. I did like both those.
Okay. As a total unrelated thing completely to derail our conversation, my wife just texted me and asked me to ask you about a Transformer. Is there a Transformer named Medics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, where is he?
Oh, wow. We're really derailing this shit.
Here he is.
Okay. There you go. All right. Wow.
Yeah, he was originally a Rescue Bots character, and they kind of made a G1-ish version of him fairly recently. It was a Walgreens exclusive.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, you're gonna have to show me the figure in more detail after we record.
Sure.
But yeah, she kept calling the guy Medics, and I'm like, who the fuck is Medics? I know Ratchet. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, everyone that's wanting this juicy 20th Century Studios stuff. We'll go back to it now. So, like once again though, David Leitch, if you look at him, he's made all these action movies. Now, once we get up to the third movie, that's where it kind of changes a little bit. We have Sean Levy. Yeah. Now, Sean Levy, he did do Real Steel, Free Guy, The Atom Project, but it seems like he's done more comedy-related movies.
Yeah, he's also directed Stranger Things, and I wanted to point out, too, that he actually directed some episodes of the Birds of Prey TV show from whenever that was, early 2000, 2002 or something like that.
Jesus, this guy's been around.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, which is kind of crazy. And honestly, I love Real Steel. Real Steel sounds like such a bad idea. I mean, it just sounds like a cheesy movie. It is so good, though.
I totally agree. I'm on the same page as you. I mean, I can't think of too many Hugh Jackman movies I've seen where it's not an X-Men movie, and that's a really good one on the side.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So okay, you're kind of making me have more faith in him. I'm just kind of worried that this movie is going to be a lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of meta jokes, and not necessarily like an exciting, interesting, serious movie.
I think it's going to be both. I think they have to have the meta jokes. I think it will. I think this is going to kind of bring. This is going to be a send off of 20th Century Fox's movies. This is it.
Yeah.
This is where, I mean, well, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll get a little bit more of it in Secret Wars or something like that. But like, this is going to be, hey, we've been doing this for 20 years. Like, remember all this cool stuff? Here it is again. Remember it fondly.
Yes.
You know. And I'm excited about that. And I mean, the implication of who the villain is, I think, is exciting. And I don't necessarily associate this villain with Deadpool at all here. So,
wait,
didn't we?
Okay, whoa. Who's the villain?
Cassandra Nova.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. We're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but that's okay. Right. That's okay. No. Because I can always click on another one of these. Basically, what I wanted to say for you, ask you as a transition from your last question was, what is the X-Men universe? We know it's the movies, right? But like, in terms of the MCU, like, how does it relate to the MCU? Why is it like specifically a target for the TVA?
So I think that I mean, it's always questionable too whether the earlier X-Men movies and the newer ones really cross over, because there's so many contradictions. And I know they kind of connect them with Days of Future Past and all that, but still, it's still always a question to me. I think what the purpose of this movie is going to be is that Deadpool, at the end of Deadpool 2, went back and changed the past a whole bunch. He started by saving Vanessa, and then he went back and saved X-Force, and he did a whole bunch of other things. He shot himself. He shot Ryan Reynolds before he read Green Lantern.
Right.
I think what's going to essentially happen here is the TVA is just like, hey, you did all this shit, and it worked out fine. So I think that's why he calls himself like the Messiah or something like that, because I think they're saying that he has some weird ability to alter the past and not fuck everything up.
That is super interesting. It's actually something I didn't consider at all. I was thinking that they were going to go deeper into the idea of what is it? It's convergence, right? Is that like when it's what's the word?
Well, convergence was DC. It was oh my God, incursions.
Incursions. Thank you so much. I was thinking that they were going to go more with the idea of incursions, and that like the X-Men universe was like the main threat to the main Marvel universe. And like, in Secret Wars, like the lead up to Secret Wars, you have the Ultimate Universe and you have the regular Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And they kind of fight, sort of. I was thinking it was going to be like that.
Well, I don't think we have enough. We don't really have any representation from the MCU for that to happen.
Yeah, in this,
I mean, the TVA is not enough in that regard, I don't think. And rightfully so. And the reason why I'm thinking, I mean, maybe it's these two ideas combined in some way, but I keep looking at this trailer, and there's a scene it looks like it's in the forest, in like a snowy forest, and I just can't shake that's Sokovia from Age of Ultron.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, that's right. Visually, it looks the same. I agree.
And I almost have a feeling that, like maybe he's going to do something there to, I don't know, prevent Scarlet Witch from getting crazy power or save Quicksilver in some manner. I don't know. Maybe that's too far-fetched there. And especially we haven't heard any of those actors' names associated with this at all.
Oh, holy shit. You just gave me like a huge nerd boner, man. That's because think about it. Okay. See, this is why I want to do fantasy booking about this movie, because I don't know what the fuck is going to happen in this. And I keep saying to you that the thing that I'm the most excited about is probably not going to fucking happen at all. But I like the idea that like Kang essentially removed mutants from the timeline. And like in the regular X-Men universe of the movies that we've been seeing since the 2000s, that's like its own separate timeline, and it's gone just like all the other timelines up until the point of Loki, the end of the first season, right? And I like the idea that like mutants somehow pose a threat to Kang's dominance, which this is all taken from Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender.
True. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I like that idea. But what you said that's so juicy and interesting is that like you could really fucking play with the Quicksilver and Wanda thing because Wanda herself has literally gotten rid of mutants in the comics, you know?
Yeah.
So I bet you this movie has nothing to do with any of the shit that we're saying right now.
But then again, and then also, like, I'm convinced that Emma Corrin is playing Cassandra Nova, and I'm convinced that that is the main villain of this movie here. And I don't know how that would tie into all those things.
Okay. So I actually thought about that too. Okay, so Cassandra Nova is an awesome villain introduced in, you know, Grant Morrison's New X-Men, Charles Xavier's unborn sister that like comes to life and looks just like him. But like I was thinking that if we're talking about the X-Men universe like being a threat somehow to the regular Marvel universe, that like Cassandra Nova, besides like the Phoenix, would be like the biggest kind of threat you could get from that universe.
Yeah,
you know?
I can get on board with that. Yeah.
So it might just be like a matter of we have to get rid of like I don't know. First of all, like I was thinking that like I know that like they like Pyro and like Sabretooth and these other characters are in that setting that you were just talking about, right?
Oh wait, the guy with the mask, is that Sabretooth?
It probably is. People are fucking saying that like that's Doctor Doom, and it's like there's no, that's not fucking Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
But like no, they've already shown like pictures of Sabretooth, like the Tyler Mane.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, you told me not to spoil it for it. I'm spoiling for you right now. Sorry, but yeah. But I mean, isn't Tyler Mane dead too? The actor that played the first Sabretooth?
Yeah, no, I know the actor's name, but it's possible.
Yeah. Anyway, like so you have like Pyro and Sabretooth. I think Toad. They've shown Toad too. I'm sorry, I'm just ruining shit for you.
He's not dead.
Okay. So that's probably literally Tyler Mane and Ray Park and stuff. They're like in it. And what I'm thinking is that maybe the X-Men universe has been destroyed and like they're just sort of like survivors that are like they're like go ahead.
So now is this the kind of like redo timeline after Days of Future Past?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Or I mean, I know I was never clear how that connected with Logan. I mean, is that connected directly, or is it is it supposed to be more Logan, or is it supposed to be more Days of Future Past? I guess.
Oh man, I hope this shit is interesting for people. I promise I won't lecture too much, but the way I kind of saw it was like, Logan is in the future of that Days of Future Past ending. Because remember, in Days of Future Past, like Wolverine wakes up and things have sort of seem to have like righted themselves, and it's like a better future, right?
Yeah.
I think Logan is after that, and the only thing that's kind of weird is there's comic books of the X-Men, and Logan kind of says like, "Oh, that shit's not accurate, or that's not the way it went down."
Yeah.
But I always took it like the movie Logan is a couple of years in the future of that Days of Future Past future.
Okay.
How did you take it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I thought too, I suppose. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't thought about it as much as I should have.
It's really bleak, right? Because the idea is like they have this nice kind of positive future because of what happens in Days of Future Past, but then it's like a couple of years later they have this fucking awful Logan future, you know?
Which I felt was kind of like mimicking the outcome of like Old Man Logan at that point.
Right, exactly. So I think that like I don't even know, because I mean Wolverine shows up in this. You actually thought that like Patch was in this at one point too, right?
100%. I guarantee you that's Patch, because when he's in the casino, that's got to be some casino in Madripoor. That's 100% Patch, and the hair is there, the white jacket. That's Patch.
Okay.
I will bet money on that. That is Patch.
Okay, so we gotta like map out what this movie is. Okay, let's do this. You kind of just give me like a sort of story beat idea of what you think this movie is, nice and quick, and I'll do the same exact thing.
I mean, what if this is as simple as Deadpool gets recruited as a variant like Loki did?
Yeah, I mean, I think
really
that's yeah.
And then, they're trying to stop whatever Cassandra Nova is doing, and that's it.
Oh, that probably is it.
The simplest answer is usually what's true. I mean, what's that? There's a term for that.
Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. Yes.
Yes.
I went to Murphy's Law. That's not right.
Right. So Emma Corrin plays Cassandra Nova, and I saw her in something recently, and I was like, damn, she's fucking good. She was in this Hulu show called Murder at the End of the World.
Oh, I want to watch that.
She was good. And then she also played like Princess Diana in The Crown.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah. The Crown is actually really, really good too. And when we talk about Morbius, I'm actually gonna talk about The Crown a little bit for a minute. Okay, but I have no doubt in how good a job she's gonna do as Cassandra Nova.
Yeah. But then again, we had Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, and that did not turn out well.
Oh God, so fucking bad. Yeah. It would suck if like they make Cassandra Nova kind of goofy in some kind of way.
Yeah. I hope they take her seriously. Yes, I agree.
Because I mean, she's legitimately scary. As far as X-Men villains go, she is one of the scariest ones.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see them making some dumb joke that she's some short, bald woman, you know.
Right.
And I can see them, doing something like that, just taking with the visual image of her and running with that rather than the actual character. But yeah, I think I like the character because she does look very unassuming in a way. She looks like a, shriveled, bald Professor X, female bald Professor X. And I like that, how terrifying she is based on how she looks, how intimidating she doesn't look, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. That's a really good point. There is a panel in New X-Men that I could just imagine right now, clear as day, where she takes her hand and essentially just like puts it into the face of this guy that can activate Sentinels, and like her fingers are like coming out of his like skin by his eyeballs and stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that exactly, but I'm gonna go read New X-Men after this now.
Yeah. She like gets one of the guys that's like a descendant of like Bolivar Trask to like activate a master mold. And like as soon as he does it, she like just takes her hand and just like puts it into his face. It's so fucking nasty, but I can see it very clearly. All right. So that's your take. Simplest, Occam's razor. He's like Loki, but it's like the mutant version.
Yeah, and I think ultimately the movie's going to end with some amount of characters being brought to the MCU, which may only be Deadpool.
Not even Hugh Jackman.
No, because he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
If you're gonna restart the X-Men, you kind of need Wolverine, I think. Even though Hugh Jackman has been playing the character for 20 plus years, which is insane, and he's fantastic, and we all love him as Wolverine, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's not going to be able to start playing Wolverine again for another 10 years of movies or whatever. They need to recast it and redo it. And I mean, honestly, I don't even know if Ryan Reynolds even would want to be doing this for another 10 years. I mean, he's not that much younger than Hugh Jackman is. Hasn't been doing his roles. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is over 50 now, isn't he?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
So I mean, he may not be long for the role either.
That's a really good point. I guess because like he, you could play Deadpool and not even really see the actor. Like kind of like a Mandalorian type thing.
It's a very good point.
He's 47 years old, so he's a year younger than my wife. Okay.
So I could see Deadpool coming over, and I can see some of these characters again. Like this is supposed to be the send off, but I think we will see them again with Secret Wars, and I think that'll be that could potentially be the last time we see any of the Fox things. That may even be the end of Ryan Reynolds, to be honest.
Like his life, they're just going to kill Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's going to be like the first thing that happens is the death. Well, I mean, he's already dead in the world because Deadpool killed him. So,
poor Blake Lively.
Poor Blake. Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that like Secret Wars is the end of it all, and I think that they've even said that like Hugh Jackman and like fucking Tobey Maguire, and I think like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. They're all supposed to be like the main characters of that movie.
Yeah, that, you know what though, I feel like that was some like fake leak that had to have been. I won't say that some of those things won't come true, but that's a bit much, I think.
Oh yeah, it's like too much, you know. It's like for instance, there's a fucking Doritos alcohol drink. Did you know that?
No.
There's a Doritos alcoholic beverage that you can buy and drink. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound real.
Right. He's just like, oh, right. It's too much. It's too much. But I was gonna say, just before we move on to the next project, that there's an actor I'm very excited about in this movie. It's Matthew McFadden, who played Tom on Succession. Succession was like one of my favorite shows ever, and he's really good on that. He's excellent fucking actor. He plays Paradox, who I think they were saying was originally going to be Mobius. Like it was going to be, what's his face? Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I think what was interesting there is that the character of Mobius and Paradox and there's several of those other TVA characters all look exactly the same. I also think it's very interesting that that Paradox, the character of Paradox, was actually created in a She-Hulk comic.
Oh, look at that, full circle.
So, yeah, coming full circle. And I bring that up because I keep seeing the argument about, why is all this fourth wall breaking stuff like okay with Deadpool, but everyone hated She-Hulk. And I just want to comment on that, saying that this is like, I don't think there's anything. It's nothing to do with the characters or anything like that. I just think She-Hulk was just subpar.
Right.
Bottom line, it was just subpar. It's nothing against the character or women or anything like that.
Right.
It just wasn't that great.
Yeah. And that kind of brings up another tangential thing. I want to bring it up now because I'm thinking about it. But like when we record our Madam Web Morbius discussion, I was going to say that like Madam Web, it's a movie that has a bunch of female actors. And the Marvels, right? We liked the Marvels. I'm assuming that we both don't like Madam Web. No one.
Yeah, I hated it.
But no one's sitting there saying like, "Oh, well, it's the haters. It's like these guys, these fans that want this male." No one's defending Madam Web.
No,
I
don't think anyone's defending Madam Web.
No. Like you could say there's like an agenda against Captain Marvel and things like that, but with Madam Web, it's just like, nah, this is a turd.
Yeah.
That's coming up tomorrow. We're recording that, guys. But anyway, I think that Mobius is like an evil version of. I mean, Paradox is an evil version of Mobius.
It's possible. I haven't read that She-Hulk comic that where he appears, or I haven't seen much of. I haven't seen much of the TVA in comics, actually, to be honest. So. I'm curious also if we will see anyone from Loki. Will we see Mobius? Will we see Loki? Where does this take place in terms of that? Is this post Loki? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm very, very interested in that too. And I think that just like kind of COVID and all the writer strike and all that stuff has messed up the timing of the release for all these different things. So who knows when this would have come out originally, like in relation to Loki.
Yeah. And also, I also take into consideration too, that while some of these things are connected and all that, like I do think they mostly operate independently and they have the faintest ideas of what's going on in the other projects. So any kind of relations may not be as like tightly knit as we'd like it to be.
Exactly.
So it could go either way for me if we'll just see the TVA in general, or if we'll actually see characters from the Loki TV shows.
Yeah. So. Key words right there, as we'd like it to be. We'd like it to all be tight, like to have this unified vision, but most likely it's going to feel disjointed as fuck.
Yeah.
So there was one last thing I wanted to say about this. Do you have anything else you want to say about Deadpool and Wolverine?
I may have got a little misty-eyed when I saw Peter show up in at the beginning of the Deadpool chapter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the fucking supporting characters, save for TJ Miller, are in this.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, but you know what? There's no Cable, and there's no Domino.
There's no Domino. There's no Cable, and there's no the guy who was Bill Skarsgård, who he played one of the guys from Ecstatics, actually.
Yeah,
Zeitgeist. He wasn't there either. So, but Shatterstar's there, which is cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, I like Shatterstar in the Krakoan Age and like the X Factor books
yes.
too.
Totally.
But then here's a weird thing. You go on the Wikipedia. This is my last point, Brian. Is that it fucking has Elektra in the credits.
Yes. So I've seen that rumor. I've seen that posted around there. I mean, looking at IMDb, you can see other things in there too that I don't know if they're confirmed. I don't think that's necessarily 100% accurate. It very well could be. And I'd be curious to see how they integrate her or anybody else from the Fox stuff. I mean, if they're going to have her represent Daredevil and Elektra, like what are they having from Fantastic Four? Does Ghost Rider isn't Fox or wasn't Fox, but that was Universal. Oh, did you freeze? Oh no, we froze again. Alrighty, so we are paused here and we're gonna come right back in a couple seconds.
Okay, well,
you're back.
We both froze, but we're both back.
Okay.
Yes. All right, hopefully that's our only glitch for today.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was saying that Ghost Rider, I don't think was like owned by anything. Maybe Universal.
Yeah, I think it was Universal. So
yeah,
maybe that wouldn't show up there. But so again, like I don't know how they would incorporate just that out of everything else into the story. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Cool, man. Well, we already spent a half hour just talking about Deadpool. Let's see how we fucking do with X-Men. So the X-Men, the animated series, ran from 1992 to 1997. So, Brian, were you 11 when it came out?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the whole show all the way through?
No. I definitely saw it when it first premiered. Like I remember seeing Night of the Sentinels. And I remember seeing them replay it like every week for like the first like a month. I've seen that episode like 10 times. Those first two episodes like 10 times.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode from the 5th season with the different animation studio.
Yeah.
So, but I've probably seen most of the rest of it.
Okay.
I own the DVDs for the first 4 volumes, and strangely enough, I never even bought the 5th one. I probably should go do that.
Does that 5th season have that episode with like Captain America and Wolverine, like in the past?
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely did not see that. I have seen since then. I've seen like clips of like the very last episode where like Professor X is dying. I've seen that. I don't know.
We see that in the trailer.
Yeah. I think that probably the reason why I stopped watching it was because, you know, if it came out in 92, I was like 10. And then if it ended in 97, I would be like 15.
We were in high school.
Yeah, 14 or 15. I do remember like distinctly being like, okay, I'm not going to watch comics or talk about comics anymore. I need a girl.
I need a girlfriend.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, you know, poor Logan and Scott and everybody paid the price for my hormones. And so, you know, I watched up to, there's a point in the series where they're kind of like traveling through time or something. There's some kind of issue with time. And I remember Bishop was like a big part of this one arc. I think it might've been like the 3rd season. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah. That was with Senator Kelly and all that, wasn't it?
Well, there is an arc with Senator Kelly where they go to assassinate him and Bishop thinks that Gambit's going to do it. That's maybe even the first fucking season.
I think that is the first season, actually. Yeah, so maybe there is something later on with Bishop and time travel. I'm not remembering clearly.
There's some kind of weird fucking janitor guy. If you know, whoever's watching, let us know what the fuck I'm talking about right here. But there's like a weird janitor guy that's like the janitor on the fucking like Asgardian Rainbow Bridge. Okay, I swear to God, this happens in this Bishop arc, and like Bishop runs into him. And then at the end of the season, that janitor guy like pulls off his clothes and then he's like some kind of fucking Jack Kirby mystical guy.
Oh shit. I do not remember that.
Yeah. I didn't hallucinate that. I'll look it up later and I'll tell you about it. Okay. But anyway, we're talking about the old show. Obviously you loved it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make an argument for, you know, the X-Men theme song is like the millennial national anthem.
Nice, man. That's fucking great. Yes.
So yeah, I mean that was the basis for like the Michael Keaton Batman movies, the X-Men, the Batman the animated series, the X-Men 92 series, the animated Spider-Man series. That is the basis of my love of comic books. I was introduced to comics before that from my dad a little bit, but that really formed my love of most of those characters, and still most of those characters are my favorite to this day.
I think the combination that you just named is like the basis of my identity.
Like, yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's not changed in 30 years.
Right. Ditto. Yeah. Arrested Development. I would also add that like the Marvel cards.
Oh my God. I love Marvel cards.
Yes.
So many. They kind of make them again too. And I was trying to get Brandon to try to get interested in them so I could buy them. But he wasn't interested in it. So.
Oh man. It means we get to save money. Come on. We got to just shove our money at these franchises. Yes. So okay, you're so good with voice actors and stuff. You're gonna have to clarify a few things for me. So the guy that is the voice of Wolverine, he's still alive, and that's Cal Dodd.
Cathal Dodd, yeah. So the returning voice actors here reprising their roles are Cal Dodd as Wolverine. Wait, I have a list here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I remember here. George Buza is returning as Beast.
Perfect.
Lenore Zahn is returning as Rogue, and Allison Seeley Smith is returning as Storm.
Hell yeah!
And the last one is Christopher Britton returning as Mr. Sinister.
Such a distinct voice. All of those are distinct voices for those characters.
Yes. Some actors have passed away. Some are taking on other roles. Like for example, Jubilee was voiced by oh my God, what is her name? Alison Court. But she is not of Asian descent, so she stepped down from the role.
Nice.
She'll be voicing somebody else there. The original Jean is going to be voicing Val Cooper.
Yes, I love Val.
What else? What other people are returning? I don't remember. I think that's basically everything that I remember in terms of returning people. Oh, the original Gambit is playing somebody else as well. He's not reprising his role, but he is in the show.
Okay, so here's where it gets weird. They do this kind of mic drop moment where Cyclops says something and then Wolverine says something. I know that the actor that played Cyclops died.
Yes,
but then
passed away.
Cyclops, the new guy, sounds more like regular Cyclops than Wolverine sounds like his own voice.
So new Cyclops is Ray Chase, who is fantastic. He's a very good voice actor. I think I know him best as the voice of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic. He does a great job there. But then you have to consider that, you know, Cal Dodd is 30 years older now. I mean, he's not going to sound the same. You know,
right.
Think of all that role probably did damage to his voice.
Right.
Like he was like chewing gravel doing that voice back then.
Yeah.
There's no way he could still do that, but I want him to be in the show. I don't mind that it sounds subpar. I made that similar criticism of Frank Welker before in Transformers. I don't think he can he can't do that rasp anymore. Like, you know, that there's something you do there that you just can't do it for forever, you know?
No, of course not.
But of course I want to hear it.
Yes. No, and it's fine. Like, he doesn't sound like radically different. It is different. It's just weird that like the guy doing Cyclops sounds just like Cyclops.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So, and then also the guy that played Magneto, he died as well. And the guy that they cast does sound different than Magneto, slightly.
I mean, it still sounds pretty close. It sounds like an evil Magneto kind of voice, I think.
Yeah, his inflection, the way that he says things, is similar to the way that Magneto talks. It's just a different voice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's doing a good job there. It does sound different. You can't. I mean, like I think you know, with Cyclops is an exception there. That it really, if you told me that it was the same, I might have thought it.
Yeah. Well, so Magneto is in charge of the team, or at least he like owns Xavier's estate because Charles died, and one thing that's really interesting about the show too is that it is literally X-Men 97, so it's just like picking up right after the show ended. Yep. So I think it's going to be a very interesting thing to kind of continue the story and feel like the show, but then it also seems like there's some big changes too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty big change too, having Magneto be in charge. I mean that happens in the comics though. He does seem to be. He sounds pretty evil there though. You know.
Yes.
I wouldn't have read Magneto in the comics when he was sort of on the good side for a little while there in the 90s.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have read it like that, but I'm curious to see it. I mean, we know that the main villain of this at least the first season is going to be Mr. Sinister. So we'll find out what Magneto's intentions are. But I mean, the implication of the trailer is that he sounds a little evil. So.
Yeah. And at the end of the trailer, Cyclops says, "To me, my X-Men," which is it's the Charles Xavier line. Yeah. So yeah. So did Charles actually die? That's a question that you posed in there. You were thinking that he like kind of went off with Lilandra.
I think that's what happened in the last episode. He went off with Lilandra, and because she could keep him alive and with Shi'ar technology or some shit. I don't remember. Okay. And that kind of happens in the comics at some point, but maybe not in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah, my timeline's a little fuzzy there, but yeah.
So Charles is out of the picture regardless. And then Morph, I remember Morph was still alive on the show. He was evil, like when it was the Mr. Sinister arc.
Yeah, so apparently he actually is in the final episode, and he is a little more sane. So that's kind of where they're coming from there. So, and you know, there's apparently a big controversy over Morph identifying as non-binary, which I just like. I couldn't help but like face palm every comment I read. I keep thinking like, are these all bots that is making people just want to say things about it? You know?
Yes.
Are people that dumb?
Yes. God, talk about fucking life imitating art. The idea of like bots, like it's like fucking Sentinels, and they're mad about this mutant character. You know, oh, he's different. Oh, he's transgender now or whatever. Well, it's just gonna be that he's they them, right? That's all.
Basically, yeah. I mean, and this is coming from, you know, like we're big fans of the Exiles comic, which was a different version of Morph. But I mean, the number of times that Morph was cross-dressing or presenting himself as a female character is uncountable.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, a shapeshifter just by definition, like almost has to be transgender because they just are always changing who they are. You know, like Mystique.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Mystique. Like, I'd love to hear these people's reactions to the Mystique issue, the X-Men Blue issue from a few months back.
Yes, exactly. For those of you that don't know what Brian's referencing, I've not gotten up to this yet in the X-Men comics, but essentially Mystique, who has been known as Nightcrawler's mother, literally became a man and impregnated Destiny, who is a woman, to have Nightcrawler.
Yes.
So
which
I mean,
I thought it was an awesome piece of like continuity kung fu, and I loved it. I love the issue. It was one of my favorite X-Men issues that I've read in the last year.
Yes. I mean, so now while you guys are picturing Mystique growing a penis and having sperm that can create a child, we're gonna move forward with this. One thing that we could actually complain about if we chose to would be the animation style, right? Because I mean, it does look just like the fucking cartoon, though, from the 90s.
So yeah, I'm gonna say this. When I first watched the trailer, I did watch it on my phone. It was on Instagram, so it was a little cut off. I didn't even notice it until I saw people pointing it out. Some people that actually like and respect in various comic communities. They said, "Oh, it looks like, you know, heavily cel shaded What If," and then I went back and watched it. I'm like, "Holy shit, it is."
Right.
I don't know. Maybe the nostalgia will kind of, you know, give me some ruby quartz colored glasses here.
Oh,
I'll be able to see past it.
Right.
Maybe maybe it'll be better than how What If looks and all that. I was slightly disappointed though when I found out it wasn't 2D because it was not mentioned ever. But I mean, look at that image there. Like, for the most part, you really can't tell unless you really look closely, I think.
Yes.
And I noticed the heads turning is the biggest thing that I notice when it looks 3D. Everything else looks fantastic.
Yes. That's a really good point when the heads turn, right? Because I think Cyclops kind of does that at the end when he says, "To me, my X-Men." Like there's a yeah. But Brian, you said something just now. Look real close at this image. There's one thing I didn't see in my research, but then when I made the thumbnail for today's episode, I was like, wait a minute, Jean Grey's fucking pregnant.
What? Holy shit! Right there, I see it underneath me.
Right.
Oh shit! I didn't notice that.
Yes. So she's holding her baby bump right there, and so that's got to be fucking Cable.
Yeah, that's why Cable's on the show.
So it makes you wonder, like, is there going to be some kind of thing with like Mr. Sinister or Apocalypse, most likely Apocalypse, like infecting him with the techno-organic virus?
Maybe. Or another question too is like, is that even Jean?
Oh, Madeline Pryor.
Are they going to pull a Madeline Pryor here?
Yes.
The Hellfire Club's involved.
My God. There's so much fucking juiciness with all the like the late 80s, early 90s X-Men stuff. It's like that's where it's like the fucking golden nugget right there, Seriously. So much stuff you can mine right there. But it's also an era of like excess and craziness. Like we have Bishop, we have a lot of time traveling people and a lot of extreme people like Bishop. But then there's two characters I saw coming, or they're not even coming back. They're characters from the 90s that are in this series. There's Executioner, and then there's Abyssa. And I'm like, who the fuck is Abyssa?
I don't know who Abyssa is.
I know. I didn't have any time. I was very busy weekend, but I was going to look her up. But that's one of the voice cast actors, too, is Abyssa. So I'm like, who's that?
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Also, now I'm thinking about it, Madeline Pryor is in the show. I mean, the Goblin Queen's in the season. Because they made a figure of her for the cartoon.
Oh, they have like fucking figures of this.
Yeah, they have figures. Yeah, they already have figures. They're out. They're in stores now. I've seen them.
Oh my God. I don't know about you, but like I would actually much rather prefer that is Madeline Pryor that's pregnant, and that's that's the way it goes in the comics.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. So what else do you have to say about this? And we can go over the hour too if we can. Shit.
What else? There were three controversies I mentioned in my notes. I think it was one with the non-binary thing. It was the animation, and it was the third. I've also seen some people commenting about how they desexualized Rogue. Well, okay. There's that really famous picture that's been floating around the internet, recirculating around the internet a lot the last few years, where Rogue is kind of like you see the back of Rogue. Like laying down in front of Apocalypse, and she's a very shapely bottom.
She sure does.
And then they're literally comparing it from a shot in this show with that, and they're saying they nerfed Rogue's ass. And I think it's kind of funny. And if you're taking that seriously, it's fucked up. But if you're saying it as kind of like a joke, it's kind of funny.
That's a fucking great term. They nerfed Rogue's ass. I kind of want a T-shirt of that, but I don't think I'd be too embarrassed to wear it.
I would, I like the idea of it. Yeah.
No, it's funny because like I watched like, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes of the original cartoon with my daughter, like in the past 2 days. And the show's horny as fuck. Yeah. Like there's all this stuff where like Rogue's talking about how she wants to just be able to touch someone. Gambit's like just constantly flirting with her. He's like, maybe it'd be worth it if I went into a coma. Share? Like he's like saying all this kind of shit.
That was a really good Gambit.
Well, that's the bullshit. I mean, you know this story, Brian, but just for
oh my God, yes, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I always used to play X-Men, and I couldn't be my favorite Cyclops because this one kid always had to be Cyclops. So I was Gambit, And I do love Gambit though, especially on this show.
Yeah, this is my favorite version of Gambit. Absolutely.
Right. One other thing we should mention too is that it's interesting because my daughter watching the show, she recognizes the characters from Marvel Snap, so she's kind of like, oh yeah, that's Morph, right? That she's from Marvel Snap. And like, yeah, even like ancillary characters because the old show used to just have people in the background and stuff always.
Yeah. And they'd have the kind of like the spotlight episode, which is to me very reminiscent of, the Transformers cartoon. What I loved about that is they have kind of the set main cast there, but they actually pull in all the other characters for like spotlight episodes here and there. Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like Nightcrawler is one of the, most famous X-Men characters probably.
Right.
He was in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Colossus, I think, was only in 1 or 2 also. I don't think he's returning necessarily, but I think they added, in addition to Bishop, I think we also have Nightcrawler as a main cast member for the show as well.
Nice. No, Colossus. I actually just saw an episode of Colossus with my daughter today. It's like the same episode where they introduced the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
And like Colossus is in the United States. And then I think there's a 2-parter with Omega Red, and Colossus is in that too.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right. Yes.
Right. So, I guess my last thing before we move on to Fantastic Four is, do you think that this is considered a reality that's in the Marvel multiverse, and that do you think in any kind of weird way that this version of the X-Men is like the X-Men between Logan and the movies that we saw with, like, you know what I'm saying?
I think there's probably too many plot contradictions
yeah,
line up. But yeah. I really think this is probably going to be its own separate timeline sort of thing.
Okay.
Is it a canon universe? Sure, why not? But I really think this is here to kind of like hype us up, bridge the gap for when they actually have new X-Men movies post Secret Wars.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, honestly, with that point, like I'm at this point where, you know, I understand like not being excited about superhero movies, especially if you see something like Madam Web or Morbius. You're just kind of like, oh my God, like we have to watch these. But to see like these characters again, these X-Men animated series characters again, it's like I almost fucking cried a couple of times watching the cartoon with my daughter. I was like, holy shit. It's Cable. It's like one of the most generic extreme characters from the 90s. It's fucking great. Oh my God.
All those pouches and all of their glory.
Right. He said he's the wild man from Borneo. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I still don't know what that means. I'm 41. Yeah.
Oh, that's the line of this episode.
Thank you. We already have a few, and we haven't even touched the Fantastic Four. So let's talk about this movie. This is the point I was going to say to you before, Brian, was, isn't it confirmed that it's set in 1963?
I don't think they confirmed it, but I think it's hinted at. I saw some commentary about the magazine that the Thing is holding is a kind of a reproduction of a Time magazine from 1963 with Lyndon B. Johnson on the cover. So I believe that's the biggest hint we have in terms of that. And I like this idea that it's the 60s. So we obviously had Fantastic Four movies in the early 2000s. I think that was an attempt to kind of modernize the Fantastic Four. Then we had Fanforstic, which I have not seen, but that was, I feel like that was intended to be a take on Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And now I think that a lot of the things that I think Marvel has done is they kind of have embraced that kind of like Silver Age origin for a lot of these characters and all that. So I think this really is going to be like full on 60s and really take the core essence of the Fantastic Four is, and maybe not as many attempts to modernize it. Although I imagine by the end of it, we will have them in the present day.
Yeah. Do you think that it'll have this sort of aesthetic? I think, was it Brad Bird? I think he's a director, did like The Incredibles and Tomorrowland and stuff. He's kind of got like almost an aesthetic unto himself. Do you think it might have that kind of feel?
I think it might, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that The Incredibles is like the best Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yeah, and I even heard rumors. So we had heard rumors of this before, and we've even talked about it in our previous episodes. And I had heard rumors a long time ago that there even will be like a film grain on it, sort of, to make it look like it's in the 60s. But that could be total BS at this point. That may not be confirmed. Literally, the only confirmed things are the cast of the Fantastic Four itself. Where it's highly implied or maybe loosely known that the villain is going to be Galactus for this, but that's really all we know.
Okay, yeah. Well, but isn't it possible that Herbie's in it too?
I know Herbie is in the poster. Yeah,
right. He's on the poster though.
I saw somebody fan cast Herbie as Jason Mantzoukas, and I can't picture it any other way now.
That would be fucking perfect. That would be perfect. I love what you're saying about this film grain thing. Now I'm just kind of picturing that, and I like this aesthetic. of the like 1960s, this kind of like retro future they keep using in all these articles when they talk about this movie. I mean, I'd be completely on board. I wonder. Oh, and here's a little tangent too. As much as it sounds like you disliked Madam Web, like I disliked it, I still think Madam Web is better than the Josh Trank Fantastic Four. So
wow, okay, you know what? I gotta watch it now because that's like that's a statement, man. That's a crazy statement.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm damaging your life. You know, like I feel like I'm giving you brain damage by like we have to watch Madam Web, Morbius. Now I'm going to make you watch Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
I personally feel responsible for making you watch Morbius, and leading up to this movie. So I will take a hit. I will watch. I mean, really, there's only 2 left that I haven't seen. I just haven't seen Fantastic, and I haven't seen Green Lantern. That's it. I've seen the second Ghost Rider. Oh no, I didn't see the
Spirit of Vengeance. Oh, I haven't seen that either, actually. So that's next week. No, like you being like, okay, I'm gonna watch Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. That's like you being like, okay, give me a second, guys, and you just go suck on the exhaust pipe of a car. Like, all right, I'll see you.
Holy shit!
Be right back. You know, but anyway,
wow.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about Madam Web, and we're going to talk about this when we review the movie, is that, you know, obviously there's like studio interference and there is the respect for the director, the respect for the characters. I think that Marvel, they're very controlling about what happens, but I do think that they have faith in the directors for the most part. Now, the director of this Fantastic Four movie is Matt Shakman, who he seems like much more of a TV guy, but he's directed some like big budget TV things. He directed an episode of 6 Feet Under, which is one of my favorite shows. He directed a couple of episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I think that's one of your favorite shows.
Yes.
Directed an episode of Fargo, another one of my favorites. I mean, he's directed a shit ton of stuff, but I'm just cherry picking the ones I really like. Game of Thrones, 2 episodes. He directed every episode of WandaVision. And then
wait, what season of Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah. It just said the titles, so I don't even know which ones it fucking was. Right, yeah. But and then just for those of you
7.
Oh, sorry. But for those of you that like watch me and Danny talk on Lastercast, we also do or did Monarch Legacy of Monsters. He did 2 of those too. And
most importantly, I don't think you heard you say, but he directed WandaVision.
He did, I said that, yeah, and he did all the episodes of that. Yeah. So, you know, obviously he has experience with these like big budget shows. Will that translate though, Brian, do you think, to a Fantastic fucking Four movie?
I think Fantastic Four is gets a bad rap. I think they're a very underrated comic. I've just been dying to go catch up on the most recent run. I always hear good things from people whose opinions I respect online about it. And you know, I get it. It's kind of like hokey, you know, like it's a family oriented idea. Like they're a family of superheroes, and I get that kind of sounds lame, and I get that for like a casual superhero watching movie watching kind of viewer, you know, some of these characters are kind of lame, especially like Reed, really. You know, like for us, Reed is fucking awesome.
Yes.
You know, Reed's the selling point for us, you know?
Yes.
But I can see how that idea, that character, he stretches and he's smart. And I can see how that's a hard sell on paper for someone that really just likes the more action-oriented and the big comic storylines of the MCU. Which kind of leads me into, you know, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards here. I think when we first talked about this rumor casting, which is exactly what it was, that rumor was, I think we were a little bit down, maybe more so me, I think, on Pedro Pascal's Reed. I didn't quite see it, but I get it. Pedro Pascal is like the cool internet dad, you know?
Daddy,
and I think that's exactly what you need to sell that character to the masses. So I'm kind of on board with it now.
Yeah.
And I the more I think about it, I actually really like this cast a lot.
No, I really like this cast a lot, the 4. But I have things to say about each of them. you're right. He is like the internet daddy. Sherry brought up this interesting point. She's like, isn't he like 50-something years old? But I was like, well, Reed is always like this fatherly figure. He's got the fucking white.
Yeah, he's always had the, yeah.
But here's my thing about Pedro Pascal. I think he's a fantastic actor. I really love him. I haven't seen his stuff that's like non-genre. So I obviously loved him in Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, The Last of Us. My thing is, I think that he's very good at playing a wise character. I don't know how good he'd be playing a brilliant character.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. And that was my initial reservation with it. But I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna hope that this is gonna be like a home run.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? The thing is, he has the ability. Like, I really did not like him as Max Lord in Wonder Woman 1984, but I feel like that's based on the vision of the movie, not his acting ability.
Yeah, that was not his fault at all, I don't think.
Okay, good. So then let me ask you this. Have you ever seen anything with Vanessa Kirby in it?
I have not. And I know she's in what we mentioned before, Hobbs and Shaw. She's in that, and I have not seen that she's in 2 Mission Impossibles.
I think so. I just started watching the most recent one, like on Paramount Plus, and it was like really fucking good.
I feel like I've never seen it. Oh no, I'm sorry. I saw the 3rd one. That's the only one I've seen. I feel like that's one of those things that you probably need to see the other ones, or is it not?
Okay. So here's the thing, right? Fuck Josh Trank's Fantastic Four and like Green Lantern. Just throw those out and just go watch all the fucking Mission Impossible movies.
Okay,
because they're really good. You don't need to see all of them, but then they do become more serialized by like the 4th movie on. And I think they're up to like 7. And the most recent one was so fucking good. I haven't even finished it yet, but it's so good. And yeah, she is in the 2nd to last one. I've seen some fan art of her as Sue, and she looked incredible.
Yeah, I think she has the look of Sue. Like, I think it's spot on. I think it's going to work really well.
Yeah. Here's one of those things where it's like, she's probably the least known out of these 4 actors for us, but that doesn't say anything about her acting ability or how good she'll be.
Right.
So like, I just know much more about the remaining people. So let's talk about who's left, right? So we have Eben Moss-Bachrach as the Thing. Now, what do you know him in besides that episode of Andor?
It's funny. Kristen, my wife, has been watching The Bear, and I have not been watching it with her. And that's really it. And I was looking up something about him there, and I'm like, oh shit, he was that guy in Andor. So I didn't even realize that until a couple of days ago. So that's completely it. That's my knowledge there. I've seen a couple of bits and pieces of The Bear that Kristen was watching it, but I didn't really sit down and watch full episodes with her.
Okay. Do me a favor. When you talk to Kristen next, can you just ask her about the Feast of the 7 Fishes and just see what her reaction is on her face? Okay.
Okay.
Because I won't spoil it. I want to see how her reaction is. But I too have watched The Bear. I'm not fully finished with it. I just watched that Feast of the 7 Fishes episode last night. My wife loves Eben Moss-Bachrach. He was in Girls, and that's where she first saw him, and she liked him in that. She likes him in The Bear. He comes off as this sort of like a guy from where we're from, like a Staten Islander kind of East Coast kind of rugged guy, right?
Yeah.
But then you fucking watch what the fuck? There's this movie with Paul Giamatti, John Adams. Jesus Christ! You watch John Adams, the HBO miniseries, and he's just like a British guy, like a colonial British guy. So I think the actor is just like this British actor, but he's always very good at portraying that sort of like East Coast, hard-edged kind of guy.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
And so I mean, to play Ben Grimm, you need an East Coast, literally fucking hard-edged guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe Eben Moss-Bachrach is Jewish. I don't believe any of the other previous Thing actors were. So that's that's a huge aspect of the character of the Thing,
Yes.
So I think that's a nice little touch there too.
Yes, and I'm glad that you brought up Jewish, because now we can do that tangent about Israel.
And we get canceled, yes.
There you go. All right, good. No. So anyway, you're all down for him being the Thing?
Yeah. And nice. I mean, honestly, I hope I'm curious to see how they do it visually, because you know they with the original, with the Fox Fantastic Four movies, you know, it was Michael Chiklis in a suit. I didn't mind that casting, but I hated that he didn't have the iconic Thing brow. That bothered me so much. And you know, with Van Forstic, they went to full CG. He did have the brow, sort of. He didn't have pants.
Yes.
But I'm curious to know if they will go. Is this going to look like the Hulk, the MCU Hulk, sort of? Is it a guy in a suit? I don't know. I'm very curious what they do, but it looks like they are keeping that iconic brow. So I'm going to be happy, I think, whatever they do there. As long as he has that look, I'll be happy.
Could you imagine we actually have the possibility of an MCU Hulk fighting an MCU Thing?
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Right? Holy shit.
Or an MCU Wolverine fighting an MCU Hulk.
Oh, holy shit. Dude, the toy box has just fucking expanded.
He's got to rip him in half like an ultimate universe.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Poor Hugh Jackman. So that leads us up to Joseph Quinn. Now, you are a Stranger Things fan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Joseph Quinn as Eddie Munson in the most recent season of Stranger Things. It's really the only thing I've seen him in. I think some people I saw some people commented that they wanted the guy that played Billy to be Johnny, and I can see that as well. But I like this casting. I think he's going to do a good job. I think he's got a lot of energy and personality, and I think that's going to work well.
Wait. Okay, refresh my memory. Is Billy the
Billy,
brother?
Billy is Max's brother. He was also the Red Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Right. They fucking wanted him as Wolverine.
Yes, I heard that too. Yeah.
Or at least he wanted himself as Wolverine. You know.
Yeah, I think. He's not that old. Like, he's mid-30s, I think. That could still work.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he will be the new Wolverine. Who knows?
I think he's got a weird name. His name's like.
He's Australian, and this is a very Australian name. It's Dacre. I don't know if that's Dacre or Dacker. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, no. I'd be down for that, and I understand why they would want him as Johnny too, because his hair is like lighter too, and you know. But in the picture, the really awesome picture that they supplied with us for the Fantastic Four, he looks good as Johnny.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just a couple more points before we wrap this up. We already kind of talked about we talked about Galactus being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you think Dr. Doom is in this?
I don't see how you can have a Fantastic Four without Dr. Doom, and especially with Secret Wars being the end game of this multiverse arc or saga. Sorry,
right?
And supposedly, and in the more recent Secret Wars comic, God Doom, that is the villain.
Right.
I think you kind of have to introduce him, even if he's not the main villain. Like, he has to be in it in some capacity.
Right. So then my follow-up question to that is, do you think that Doom is a contemporary to the Fantastic Four in the 60s? Not that like because what I'm assuming with the Fantastic Four is if they're around in the 60s, they're going to essentially like get lost in the multiverse or something, or get put in suspended animation and then come out like Steve Rogers in the present day.
Yeah.
Do you think that Doom is going to be in a similar scenario where he too is like out of time and then he comes back in the present day?
I think he has to. I think the fact that Reed and Doom growing up and studying together is such a huge part of their rivalry. Yeah, I think it just wouldn't work if Reed is from the 60s and Doom is from the present day.
Yeah. See, like with all this stuff, I know that like because of the Jonathan Majors stuff and just because they kind of fumbled the ball with Kang in Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, I know that like they're kind of playing down the Kang stuff, or it seems like people are not interested. But I really like the idea of that he's almost like a guy dealing with like a bonsai tree, and he's like getting rid of potential threats to his reign. And I think it'd be really cool if like Kang, that brings up essentially my last point, because they've said that Rama Tut might be a villain in this too, which is a version of Kang.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like Kang essentially trapping the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom, or maybe they were like in battle with each other, and he like traps them somewhere else so that they're not in the timeline anymore. Like, I like that.
Awesome. That's really awesome sounding. Yeah. I would like that a lot, but yeah, I would question it based on currently, Marvel doesn't seem to want to be working. Oh, they said they're not going to work with Jonathan Majors anymore. So
right.
If they recast Kang, I can see this going. Or I don't know if they'll because kind of drop it completely, kind of like they did with Black Panther. They didn't recast after the passing. A little bit different scenario, I guess here, but
yeah.
If they recast it, I think that's a possibility. If they don't, it could still work without it.
Yeah, and I mean, Rama Tut is a variation of Kang, and that's literally you could have built-in recasting there, where it's you have this cool, interesting version of Kang that's a badass, but it probably just will be just Galactus. Doctor Doom will be there, and you're kind of introduced to him. I don't know how the fuck they're going to end up in the 60s, but then all of a sudden end up in the modern day. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, maybe even whatever battle with Galactus is the impetus for them getting suspended and transported into the multiverse, or to the present day. Who knows? I'm also kind of questioning if we'll see the Silver Surfer or not. You kind of have to have the Silver Surfer with Galactus.
Exactly. So, he took the words right out of my fucking mouth. I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah, and I hope that Galactus is Galactus and not a cloud.
Oh, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way he'll be a cloud.
Galactus better be a big fucking dude with a big giant purple head and all that stuff.
You know what would be fucking amazing is if his ship comes down and then it opens up and a cloud comes out, but essentially it's just the steam kind of coming off of a ship, and then oh no, it's a cloud, but then he pops out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome. Yeah, man. So I mean, do you have anything else you want to say about Fantastic Four?
No, just I'm looking forward to it. I think Fantastic Four is an underrated property, and I hope it hits the third time here.
Nice. Yeah. Well, a fourth time if you include the Roger Corman 1990s. But what I was gonna say, not to take up more of your time, but with Fantastic Four, you were saying how it's sort of this underappreciated kind of Marvel comic, or it's looked at it a different way. But if you think about the last 15 years, I think you kind of have maybe all of Hickman's Fantastic Four run, which is amazing, or at least the end of it would be in the last 15 years. Then you have Dan Slott eventually takes over, and I think he does a really good job with it. There's somebody else in there. Oh, Matt Fraction has a run that's drawn by Mike Allred, who's the guy who did Mad Men, or Mad Man. Sorry, good.
Yeah, and that's a slightly different team.
Yeah, right. But then you also have this bullshit you have with the X-Men, where essentially because Marvel doesn't have the rights for them, they just fucking kind of ruin the team or make them not even be around for a while too.
Yeah.
So I mean, in comics and now in the movies, these characters, which are so great, finally are going to get their chance to shine.
Yeah, I'm hoping this kind of gives the MCU the shot in the arm that it kind of needs here with Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and then X-Men on the horizon. I think this is what we want.
Fuck yeah, and I'm looking forward to just talking about this with you because I had a lot of fun today, man.
Yeah, same here.
Cool.
We will not be having fun tomorrow.
No, it's like going to the dentist, but that's okay. You guys better fucking watch because we're doing Morbius and Madam Web tomorrow. So I know you guys are excited.